Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Imperfect Image podcast. I am Ashley.
This is episode 33. She missed that part. I'm Jordan.
I was going to introduce it after you said your name. I thought your name was more important than the episode number, but
Oh, no, I
but
wouldn't think so.
double number episodes are fun. 3-3. That seems exciting. Like it.
See, but now I also have to double check because I can't remember. Yeah, it is 33.
Okay,
good.
perfect. Can you imagine the disappointment if it was like 32 and I just gone through all that?
Oh, and people would just be so confused. Like, what episode are we on to this podcast I don't listen to?
Hey, we know there are some people out there that listen.
We do know.
And to those people, we say thank you.
Did you leave me a voicemail?
I did, but it was unintentional.
Oh, well,
I don't even know why there is voicemail.
I don't know. And it's on my phone. Like, I wonder if it...
me trying to call you on Hangouts to do this podcast. So, yeah, you're going to have a random voicemail. I might be breathing heavily, potentially. For no reason.
I don't know.
That's for you for later.
I can't wait to listen back to it and hear a lot of heavy breathing for some reason.
Probably some light crying.
This is how my voice sounds today. You know what I'm talking about?
Have you been doing a lot of screaming?
No.
No?
No.
Well, then I don't know what you talk about.
I don't know. I think I'm just sitting really close to the mic because your audio was insane and I felt like I was a long ways away. And when I'm really close to the microphone, I talk really like right out of my throat like that, you know?
I see. It's like, so it's one of your sexy microphone voices is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's my sexy microphone voice.
Ladies, watch out.
Speaking of sexy sounds.
Oh,
this episode brought to you by Phillips Brewing and Malting Company, Black Magic Dark Ale. We're looking at Victoria, BC, Canada. Turning the can around. Very nice can. Very colorful. And 5.3% alcohol.
Now, did you bring that back from Victoria? Purchase it because you were just in Victoria? Or is it a coincidence?
Not from Victoria, no. Imported. Bought at Highlander Liquor. And I purchased it because I had a pale ale.
Okay.
And I wanted something else. And I remember this being really good. And I'm very, very right.
Do you remember, did you reference Highlander account numbers to me? Was it you?
Mm-hmm.
I have now officially signed up for my first Highlander account number. I feel like you've really made it in life when you're special enough to get an account number at a
I feel like you've
liquor
really
store.
made it in life when you start listening to my financial advice. So here's Jordan's financial advice for the week. You open an account number at Highlander, and then you buy a whole shitload of liquor because that's what you do. However, what you need to know is that you need to spend more than $25 before your points actually activate. So if you go and you buy, $5 beer, $5 beer, $5 beer, it's going to take you 5 times before you actually get any points.
Right.
Second thing to know on this one, and the financial one that got me today, is I went to buy 2 cans of beer.
Phillips.
Yeah. Beer, I'm disgusting. Hammers. I went to buy 2 cans of beer. I went up to the counter. I said, "Hey, man, can I use some points?" It's like $9. And he goes, "Oh, no, you have to spend more than $25 to use points." So even though I have a bunch of points sitting there, and I believe I have about $30 free, I have to spend $25 at once to activate using the points.
So it's not that your bill has to be over $25. It's like you have to have a $55 bill to spend your 30 in points.
Yeah. I guess.
This is like a math lesson, too. It's financial advice. It's a math lesson. Someone out there is currently calculating how much alcohol was purchased to get $30 worth of Highlander points. There's a lot going on out there for people.
If you're going to spend the money anyways, you might as well get the points. But then I was a little bit peeved when I couldn't just use my points on my beer. Why can't I get $9 free? Why do I have to go and spend $25 worth? Which isn't that insane. That's like a 6-pack of beer. But still, a 6-pack of singles, anyways, I should say.
Yeah, when you have points, you feel like you shouldn't have restrictions in order to use them. I could not agree with you more.
And yet, I will keep going back.
I had growlers filled there last
Mm-hmm.
weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, they got a good little growler bar there.
I like what they do. So I was chatting with the guys about that one day, and they said they almost never have the same beer twice. So as soon as a keg is done, a new one goes on, but it's never the same one. So they just always keep rotating through new kegs, which is awesome if you want to try different stuff. If you find one you like, you're kind of hooped at that point.
See, and I love variety when I'm
Yeah,
drinking beer, so
I
that sounds
agree.
really cool. I hadn't had a growler filled in a long time, but it's kind of nice. We've been doing the Brewster's Coconut Porter the last few days.
Mm-hmm.
Always a good one.
Yep.
And then I went and got the other growler filled with that new mead beer.
Don't know that.
I guess I shouldn't say mead beer. I don't know that it's called mead beer. It's just mead. But there's a company out of Cochrane, Fallen Timber, I think, and they're doing all sorts of different meads that are now available on tap. And my hairstylist, the fabulous Jordan,
Yes.
not you, but the other
No.
Jordan.
I would never be a hairstylist. I've got one cut.
Oddly, I would probably let you cut my hair if you wanted.
That would, you know what? That's podcast.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, he had told me about this mead, and then sure enough, I go into Highlander, and there it is. So this one's a mojito flavored mead, which isn't going to be for everybody, but it's cool. It's sweet, of course, because it's kind of, well, honey based,
Yeah.
and it's going to be sweet. But it wasn't overpoweringly sweet, so I haven't drank it yet. We'll see what I think.
I'm going to have to give that a shot because anytime I've tried mead, that's exactly what I think. I'm like, I didn't want to drink syrup.
And I agree with you. I've never liked mead before, but what Jordan was telling me was this mead on tap you will find different. And I agree. Like I just had the sample sip at the store before I got the growler fill, and it tasted way better than I thought mead tasted. So yeah, I will have to report back on that.
You just brought up a new financial point from Jordan. When you go to the pub, always ask for a sample of the beer, whether you're going to buy it or not. If it's something you haven't had and you're going, oh, I'd really like to try this, try it. Ask for a sample. They'll give you a little cup. Even if you've had it and you're like, oh, I've never tried a Guinness before. Huh, wouldn't it be crazy if I had that for the first time? Order a sample. They'll give you a sample, and then you get more beer.
And wasn't this something that your family was making fun of you for doing in Victoria?
Yeah, and at times I was just trying to get more beer, but at times I hadn't had what was on the menu, and I thought, oh, there's a session ale or something. I wouldn't mind trying that. So I try it, and there was only once I actually sent it back and said, I'll just get the red or whatever it was.
See, and that's the thing. You're still ordering a beer, right? It's not like
Yeah.
you're taking a sample and then not ordering anything.
Mm-mm,
But that's a good
mm-mm.
point. What's the point of wasting your money on a pint that you hate when you could have asked for a taste?
Or why not get a little bit more from a pint that you like?
Exactly. There is that too. You're just full of money saving tips today.
Yeah.
Is this the
Actually,
new post baby life? You gotta throw in some extra money saving tips just to make everything feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something
I
like
respect that.
We like to double up on diapers too. Turn them around, just like underwear. Fold them inside out.
You doubled up on condoms and it didn't work, so now you have to double up on diapers.
Zing! The damn thing's ripped.
You had a thought, you said.
Double the protection, double the fun. Did I have a thought?
I think so, but I think that sidetracked you. Sorry.
Do you know at what point I would have had a thought?
Before I said the whole condom thing, but everything went off the rails at that point
Mm-hmm. No clue.
because you definitely planned your child.
Yes. Planned the child, tested things, made sure the ovaries were working. They weren't a couple times, and I did like the old computer thing where you hit it on the side and you're like, and then it worked.
But you got one of those little air guns to blow the air out and clean it all out.
Like the old N64 cartridges.
Exactly.
Is it working yet?
That's funny.
Oh, wow. Sorry, Lauren.
So I think it's probably time for the "How is the weather affecting you?" segment.
That is a fantastic question. Would you like to start?
I'm gonna have you start.
Okay. I'd like to tell you something. The weather is affecting me in a very sort of flip of the coin sort of way. So we're going out to Fairmont tomorrow, and by Fairmont I mean Radium. I don't know
Basically the
why I
same
can't.
thing.
I can't just say Radium. I always go like, "Oh, we're going to Kimberly tomorrow." Lauren's like, "We're not going to Kimberly." "Oh, right, we're going to Golden tomorrow." "We're not going to Golden." I think I said Kelowna one time. I don't know. We're going. We're,
So
we're
you'll say
heading
anything,
west.
anything but the actual place that you're going to is what
Yeah.
you're telling me. Okay.
I hear
You don't
Winnipeg's nice.
you don't want people to find you or what? You just
That's
keeping
exactly
everyone
it.
on your toes.
My whole Instagram is just pictures from around Canada, and then there's a weird one from like Shanghai. So we're going to, let me get this right, Radium tomorrow.
There you go.
So it's supposed to rain, which doesn't make the trip great. But the first night that you're there, whatever. Maybe you have a fire, maybe you don't. Maybe you just sit in the trailer, no big deal. It's the when you get up in the morning, I'm supposed to be golfing at noon. I'd like
Yep.
it to be nice for golfing. It looks cloudy. I don't really trust it, you know?
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's Saturday. And then, and I'm trying to pull up the weather here, but it looks potentially cloudy on Sunday as well, and then nice on Monday. So we'll really have to see. I think we'll get a little bit of rain tomorrow, and then it'll clear up, which hopefully means, decent weather, hanging outside, not sitting inside, as
Yeah.
well as golf.
It's funny because I'm the exact opposite for how weather's affecting me, but I've been talking to people all week that are doing the same thing as you are, that are going out for camping. And it's like uncanny to me how it's possible that every May long weekend there's snow in the forecast. I don't even understand that.
So I had
It's
a
like
thought.
science, but it doesn't make sense.
It would be interesting to look at a certain date, say, okay, May, 17th.
Yeah.
And look at that over the last 100 years and see how often May 17th is snowy or rainy.
Right. Yeah.
It would be interesting.
I bet you it would be a high percentage. That's my feeling. So yeah, no, I'm in the opposite boat. I oddly like rain, and I'm not going anywhere where rain's going to affect me, so I'm okay with it.
Yep.
And kind of looking forward to hopefully it's springing up somewhere green. And I'm like feeling the weather vibe. Ever since last weekend, we've been out sitting on the deck. We've been
Yeah.
going for walks. I just feel the spring vibe now. So
Well, you guys have the deck facing the right way too, because our deck faces north, so it does get mildly chilly in the evening. Yours
Yep.
is south, so that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, but we did notice on the one night that it's funny, like how quickly it turns where you're like warm and then all of a sudden, the sun dips just that little bit and you're like,
Yeah.
holy crap. And usually it's breezy, right? So it's that little bit of wind.
Well, and that's just spring weather.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it being kind of the kind of weekend that I just feel motivated to get stuff done. And that's probably okay if it's a little rainy, because then I won't feel like just drinking beer on my patio.
I see. If that was me, I would just drink beer on the couch.
Well, there is that too. And like I said, we still have these growlers. And once you get a growler, you got to finish it.
There's no point in letting it go flat.
Exactly. That's just depressing.
Unless it's Guinness.
We got a growler last week from Medicine Hat Brewing, and they had done like a small batch. And we went back. We had tried it the one night. We went back to fill the growler to bring it home, and it was a chai stout.
Yeah, I just had one of those the other day. Not the worst thing I've ever had, but I don't think I would choose it.
So what happened to us is, of course, we had it on the flight, and it was interesting. We're like, ooh, this is really good. But we shared a small flight glass. And we're like, yeah, we can do this. It seems awesome. Well, then we bring this growler home. And honestly, we were both almost choking down our glass. It was so bad. And it's not that it tastes bad, but it was just overpowering in a way that wasn't pleasing to drink a large glass of.
Yeah.
So Brad had one, I had one, and then the next two nights, and of course on night 3, it's getting flat at that point, but it doesn't matter as much, I find, with a dark beer. I don't know why. That's just the way my mind works. I didn't care. It felt sweet and I didn't care, but it was painful. I went to work to drink those beers.
You
And
drank
that's
them
not
at
what
work?
you want. No, I did not drink at work.
You said you went to work to drink the beers.
I can see why it comes across that way.
It really did, yeah. I just learned something about Guinness the other day.
You did.
It's not that Guinness is flat. It's not. It is carbonated, but it's nitro, right? So it's nitrogen that they use to keep it somewhat bubbly and give it that head. But the idea of having that thick head is that you keep the flavor underneath it.
Okay.
So when you're drinking a Guinness, you want to take really big sips because you can get past the head, get to the beer, but then when you're done that sip, you can still maintain a good amount of the head. If you take the tiny little sips, you end up drinking more of the head and less of the beer. Thus, you end up with kind of stale, shitty beer at the end.
And who taught you this lesson?
Kevin Smith, oddly enough, and Ralph Garman on Hollywood Babylon podcast. Listen to it.
Okay, that makes more sense. I thought maybe it was someone from your life, and I was like, that's interesting.
Nope.
So what have you been watching lately?
We haven't watched a ton. We finished Big Brother Canada.
What did you think of the guy who won?
Dane?
Yeah.
I was very happy because this was one of the first seasons I've seen in a long time where I felt like the person who deserved to win won.
Actually, wasn't Lauren basically getting to the end of her rope with the show because she felt like the deserving winner never won?
Yeah, I think we almost skipped a season and then kind of went, no, let's give it another shot. But yeah, that just seems to happen far too often where someone floats to the end and then they're like, oh, we're mad at this other person who, played really hard and won a bunch of competitions and maybe lied one time. So they vote for some shit dick that didn't do anything.
Yeah. Are you watching Amazing Race?
We are watching Amazing Race. It's actually kind of nice. It's nice to see Victor and the not Oompa Loompa. She's like a little elf.
Nicole, yeah.
Yeah, Nicole. I like seeing them on there. And then, did you recognize Janelle from Big Brother from years back?
I sure did. Yeah,
I know. A lot different.
I know Janelle and Brittany and Rachel and her sister better than I know Nicole and Victor because I didn't see Nicole and Victor's season, but I did see the first season that Nicole was on. So I love having the Big Brother players on Amazing Race. I'm cheering for them, obviously.
Yeah, it makes it a little more exciting. I'm definitely cheering for Victor and what's-her-face. But other than that, I don't really care about anyone else. I like the two gay guys.
Yeah, me too. They're fun.
They're fun, and they don't seem pissy all the time.
Did you not think the two girls from Survivor that got eliminated the last season were out of control, rage-filled?
Oh, yeah.
They were driving me crazy. I was so happy to see them eliminated.
Is this a reality show now? Is this a reality show podcast?
It has become a reality show podcast. We should probably be talking about the Kardashians next.
What else have you been watching, Ashley?
So, aside from Amazing Race, we are watching Survivor, speaking of reality shows. I had not watched Survivor since like the early 2000s, but Brad still really likes it. And so, I've taken enough of a break that I came back to it. And I'm actually enjoying it too. I like Big Brother better, but I'm enjoying it enough that I've been sitting down and watching it with him.
That's good.
And then on Netflix, I have found my new latest obsession, which you're just going to roll your eyes and shake your head at me for. But
can I take a guess?
Yeah.
Is it a serial killer show?
No, now it's about jail. It's called. I think it's called Jailbirds.
Okay. How'd you find this?
So Brad found it. He sat down and started scrolling first, and he's like, "Hey Ash, I got a show I think you'll like." And he pulls it up, Jailbirds, and I said to him, "You know what? I don't actually really like jail shows because I don't. So I find they're just crude and they're not that interesting." He's like, "Oh, let's give it a try." Halfway in, I'm hooked. So it's following a floor of a Sacramento jail that's predominant. Well, it is women only floor, but the jail itself is co-ed, which is kind of different, I think. And so the guys and the girls can communicate through the toilets, which is the grossest thing in the world, by the way. And you kind of get to know the inmates and a little bit of their story, and then you get to know what jail's like. And I'm actually finding it really interesting. I kept looking over to Brad and saying, I think I should have been a correctional officer. Like, it makes me want to work in a jail, which is really weird because it's not a pleasant place to work.
No.
And I probably am over glamorizing it, obviously, but I'm like, man, I think I miss my calling.
Yeah,
So
you're a
yeah,
strange person.
if anyone can tell me, if I can just like show up at a jail and start working, I might think about it. I don't know that it works that way though.
It really doesn't. No, I
No?
wouldn't assume so. I would assume there would be an application process, maybe a vetting process, those types of things.
Oh, you mean you don't just show up and say, "Hey, I want you." That means you must want me, right?
I don't think so. Also, that's not how sex works.
I
Yeah.
think it does if you're a woman.
I want you, thus you want me.
Yeah, I think women have that power, Jordan.
Is that how it works?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Wait a second. Did she trick me into marrying her? Fuck.
That's all that I'm watching. I have not been to a movie in quite some time. I know you have. You've been to Endgame, but
Yeah,
you
I saw
refuse to talk
Endgame.
about it.
And then while we're on the Netflix, I started watching Infinity War again.
Oh yeah.
I just, I need to see things. I need to see it again. I need to see what's going on. And it's pretty fantastic.
That's awesome.
I also started this one called Street Food. So if nobody knows, I love cooking shows.
Yep.
So this one is exactly what it says. People who cook street food. And so far it's all Asia. Volume 1, Asia. Look at that. But it's neat. Like they're as passionate or maybe more passionate than these, top Michelin star chefs and that sort of thing. They just love cooking and do it all day, every day. It's insane.
So, is there a place after Asia, or if they only published the Asia
This is just
segment?
volume 1. Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
have volume 2. I'm assuming they'll go other places. I don't know. But, different culture, so you get some cool foods. The one guy, he was like, "Oh, my absolute dream is to die one day while I'm working." Like, he just loves working. And the first couple of episodes I've watched, that's the theme you get, is these people just
Like who are
love
just
working like
obsessed with
nothing
their
else.
career.
Yeah, it's
And then it makes
amazing.
you like, do you feel good and then you feel depressed at the same time because you realize even if you like your job, there's no way you will ever love your job as much as that.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm a fucking loser.
I'm often I'm
Thinking I'm a
curious
loser.
about no, well, no, I don't ever think you're a loser, but I'm often curious about people who like really, really love their job. I'm like, how did that happen?
Yeah,
'Cause
because lately I've been just pissy about work. Like, I just don't want to go. I don't want to be there. And it's odd because I love what I do. Like,
yeah,
and I'm shockingly good at it.
yeah.
But I don't know if it's just the kids at home and I'd rather be there. I don't know what it is. I just can't stand it right now.
I'm sure that's a big part of it though. Like as a new parent, it's hard to be at work when you know your wife and your baby are at home.
Yeah.
And it just feels probably like going to work is time away from that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. I know you agree actually because we've talked about it. But yeah, I find these things are a little bit cyclical too. Like I know as much as you've had these moments, I'll talk to you weeks after and you'll have rebounded and be feeling great. And
Yeah.
I'm in a fairly good spot right now, but I mean, if you'd asked me 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was in pretty much the absolute darkest spot I thought I could be
Hmm.
here. So it's kind of odd how, it seems like potentially the smallest little things in the environment at work make such a huge difference.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I find I just need a break every once in a while too. I honestly think if I did 4-day weeks, I would be much better off.
And you almost have the kind of career where you could,
Oh, I
in
could.
theory.
I could. I would just have to. I mean, I would make less money, but
Yeah,
I'd have to be kind of okay working really long days. Although I don't have that opportunity anymore. I'm kind of stuck at 8-hour days.
right. Now, do you generally get your full 40?
No, no. It's
So,
nearly impossible for me to get 40.
yeah. So, yeah, and expecting to get the perfect schedule on 4 days so you can get, as good as you get on 5 is not really realistic too, because I mean, you have some element of having to cater to other people's schedules, even though you have it pretty good the way you've lined yourself up
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
most trainers. Like some
Yeah.
trainers' lives seem just miserable in my mind where you're
Ev-
there all day and
every day ends up being a split day for a lot of trainers, right?
yeah.
It's early morning people before work and evening people after work. And then if you can fit a few in between, great. If not, then fuck you. I've also been watching Our Planet.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoy my nature documentaries. That's about all I have to say about that. It's pretty fantastic. There's an interesting one. I think I like it.
Okay.
Called Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. So this lady, it's exactly that. There's only 4 parts so far. Fat is the first one, salt is the second one, acid is the third one, heat is the fourth one. And they just discuss what that means in food. So the first one, fat, they talk about olive oil, they talk about like pork belly and that, they talk about cheese, and they just make different dishes, talk to different people about it, olive oil producers, that kind of thing. Salt,
Right.
they, derive salt from the sea. They do some interesting things that way. I think it's a cool show. It kind of takes cooking down to its very basics, and I like that.
So you were hesitant though. You were like, you think you like it.
Um,
What's the part of
I
you that's
see.
not sure?
I just see limitation. Like I
Mm,
don't know how there would be more than 4 episodes,
right.
so that
Okay.
might be it.
Well, we have only got 6 episodes of this jail show that we love, which always happens to me. All the content that I love on Netflix is always really short series, which is good, I guess, but it just makes me want more. Like when I truly fall in love with something and binge watch, it's pretty rare.
Right.
So it always, for some reason, ends up being something that's a very limited scope. So I'll
Yeah.
be done soon and I'll be on the hunt for something else.
Well, I would make a suggestion for you.
What would that be?
I would suggest you watch Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile.
I just saw that pop up yesterday. And yes, that would be a perfect show for me.
Did you watch the Ted Bundy documentary?
I got a little bit sidetracked. I started it. Oh, is that the one with Zac Efron?
This movie is, yes.
No, I haven't seen that yet. And then I
No,
was
no, but
starting.
there is a Ted Bundy
Oh,
documentary series on, I think it's
yeah,
on Netflix.
that I started. I started the documentary. And okay, so the title that you just read is the Zac Efron one.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I didn't put that together yet. I just knew it had something to do with crime, and I got excited. But yeah, no, I started the documentary, and then I think it was around the time that we were moving, and then
Mm,
I lost it. So
right.
I don't know. We haven't, as usual, been home much, and that's a common problem in my life. And then when we are, I am crazy and feel like I need to be tidying up almost all the time. So it takes us a long time sometimes to get through a show because of my oddities. And there's just no excuse for it, except for that I'm a little bit crazy.
You know what you could do?
Just sit down and relax.
Yeah, I was going to say you could work on that.
Yeah, I could. I think I always make 2 steps forward and then maybe 10 back, and then I take another 2, and then I go 10 back. And then eventually I get good momentum and then I slip again.
I
It's like an
can't relate to
alcoholic,
that.
but not.
Jesus, wow. Ooh-wee.
Oh, wow. That got
Heads
weird.
up, I want to eat people. Like, you really went for it there.
So I have an interesting segment I thought we should go for.
Oh shit, she's got a segment. Let's go.
It's the uh, new, not new business recommendation, but your new business recommendation in Airdrie.
My new business recommendation in Airdrie. Does
No,
it
it
have to
doesn't
be a
have to
new
be a new.
business?
No, it just has to be new to this segment, which at this point means it could be anything. But
Um,
first of all, as you know, listeners of this podcast, we are now both Airdrie residents. I've been there for almost let's say 2.5 months, I am personally enjoying myself quite a bit.
Yep.
And yeah, it's good this time around again. I'm reminded of the first time where I realized Airdrie's not that far.
No.
So all you people out there that are thinking that it is, I'm here to tell you, Airdrie is not that far.
Well, it's not that far, and I find it nice, right? When people leave work, one of the guys at work lives across the street. When you leave work, you're pretty much still beside work.
Right.
I like the idea that I leave work and I drive away from work.
Yeah.
I still have email on my phone. I still get work emails, that sort of thing. But I don't really have that option to go to work. I'm really separate. So on the weekends, I don't go anywhere near work. I don't grocery shop at stores around work. It's just a separate life.
And I found at the end of my stint downtown that, my condo was decently far from my work. So I wasn't feeling exactly that, but I was feeling like I wasn't at a point where I really wanted to immerse myself in the community. The grocery store felt far. It didn't feel convenient. I felt a lot of hustle and bustle. And I mean, I loved living downtown, but I was ready for the change. And now, I like that we have our Save On close. And
Yeah.
I am in the same boat. I like that when I'm home, it feels like a separate place and it just feels like just a total different world. I get on the bus, I decompress, and by the time I'm home from work, I don't even have to think about the office. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So
It is
anyway,
nice. There is decompression time. That's a good way to go.
we need to promote our wonderful city. So, yeah, why don't you tell me what business you'd like to recommend in Airdrie today?
So currently, I would like to recommend Peros on Main. So that's the Greek restaurant on Main Street. I've been twice. I went with my mom once and had moussaka,
Nice.
so an eggplant dish, and I
Yep.
thought it was delicious. I remember not finishing it all. Big portion. I don't know what the price was because she would have paid. I remember the service being good, but we also weren't there when it was busy. It just overall good experience. The kind where you're like, oh, I should do that again one day.
Yeah.
So then I believe her and my mom went again at some point in the last month or so.
You were talking about your mom.
Yeah, okay. So her and my mom went within the last month or two.
But who is her and your mom? You were talking
Lauren.
about your mom.
Oh,
Okay.
shit. Her and my wife.
Because your mom
Fuck's
is your
sakes.
mom. There we go.
Is she?
Okay. I'm with you now.
So it would have been last Friday. Lauren wanted to go. She said, I really enjoyed this place. Let's do it up. So we went Friday about 5 o'clock maybe. Took
Did you
the
take
kid.
Chloe?
Yeah, took the kid. She sat in her car seat. That was actually funny because she was quiet until Lauren had one sip of wine left in her glass. And then she started to squawk. And it was like, okay, time to go get the bill. So Lauren took her outside. I paid the bill and we left. So the two of us shared spanakopita to start. And then we shared a beef skewer.
Yep.
I don't remember what the exact word was, but a kebab, we'll say. So beef kebab, and that came with Greek
Rice.
salad, rice, potatoes,
Oh.
and then like tzatziki sauce and that sort of thing, as well as some pita. So, I mean, this dish, you can't see me holding my arms out, but it was like, I mean, it looked like a pizza tray. And that was supposedly for one person. So we had our, half of a spanakopita to start each, and then half-ish of that dish, and then a glass of wine each, and we're like 100% stuffed. No more room. I couldn't imagine how one person could eat that much food. It was insane.
We went there for lunch
Yeah.
right before Easter, and we had the same experience. I think he got chicken and I got prawns.
Yeah.
But we ordered those dishes. And yeah, you're right. It's way too much food for one person.
Oh, it's insane. But at the same time, the bill came to like $40 or something like that. It was ridiculous.
Well, and you guys are really good about sharing a meal and keeping costs down that way. And you're
Yeah.
right, restaurant portions are often way too big anyway, so that's really smart of you.
Well, you get a starter, which realistically most of the time is as big as a meal or as much as any one person would need. So you split that, you split the meal, and you should have a good amount of food. The
Yeah,
thing I'm trying to remember is when you go to a restaurant, you're paying for quality food. You shouldn't be paying to feel like you're going to fucking throw up because you ate so much food. That's not the point. Like, the point shouldn't be massive portions. The point should be quality food.
right.
So quality food, quality service, done. That's all you need in a restaurant. You don't need Montana's 2.5, racks of baby back ribs with a steak on the side, fries, coleslaw, and dipping sauce. That's just insane. Why would you need that much food? So you're either going to leave it there and it's going to get thrown out, or you're going to take it home, and that's fine. You might get another meal, but generally you're paying for that meal.
Don't you think, on a side note though, that once in a blue moon, and maybe this is just me, it does feel wonderful to eat a butt ton of food?
It's impressive sometimes. That is
There's a
reserved for
moment.
pizza in my mind.
Yeah, pizza's a great example. Or Taco Bell. There's always a
Oh,
moment where I'm like,
ugh.
I need to eat more than a human should, and I'm gonna do that now.
I would prefer if you never did that at Taco Bell again.
Taco Bell makes me happier than anything ever should, and we're
Taco
just
Bell
gonna
is
leave it at
killing
that.
you.
Someday on my deathbed, I will just scream Taco Bell with a fist in the air.
Yo quiero Taco Bell. Blech.
So my Airdrie business recommendation is kind of similar to yours in the type of food, but it is called Moody's Mediterranean.
That's funny.
Why?
Lauren didn't like it.
I have been there multiple times. I think it is so good. What did she
So,
get?
oh, fuck, I don't know. I don't listen. She didn't tell me.
So the funny thing is, it's been really popular. So I'm in a Hillcrest Facebook group, which is embarrassing to say out loud, but I mean, there
Yep,
was
you
lots of
just
talk
did.
about it.
I'm
It's
not
really close
editing
to
this.
our house. Um, so yeah, I've been twice now. Brad's been three times. It's like locally owned. The owners are really nice and very similar. Like the rice is kind of neat because it's fried in a different way. Like they actually have little vermicelli noodles in it, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, I'd like
Uh,
that.
the Greek potato is, awesome. They have salad options. The Greek salad is what I usually get. It's good. And then, yeah, I always get the gyro or whatever you want to call it.
I'm going to
Gyro.
call it Gyra.
But Brad's got other meats, and yeah, it's funny. Anyway, I think it's wonderful. And when I'm in there, it's always busy with lots of takeout options. Skip the dishes in Airdrie is ridiculously popular.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I go out and I'm sitting in a restaurant, we were at Noodle Box the other day,
Hmm.
which we'd never tried before. We're like, let's go to Noodle Box. It wasn't that good. I swear, when we were sitting in there, we were there for half an hour. There were like six skip the dishes drivers that came consecutively. One would come in, get an order, leave. 2 minutes later, one would come in, get an order, leave. And that's a takeout place anyway. It blows my mind.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like skip the dishes. I haven't used it. I haven't used any delivery in Airdrie yet, aside from that one time that we had pizza when you guys were over. But yeah, I'm personally a fan. So I
I
think you should give it a shot.
I
I'm
will
not
have to give it
sure.
a shot.
Yeah.
You know what I would suggest?
Yes.
You buy it for me. I'll eat it.
Okay.
Oh, wow. I was not expecting that.
Next time I have to feed you, I'll be like, let's go to movies.
Okay, when is that?
Uh, I don't know. And I also think I said movies and
You
not
said
movies.
movies. I was going to let it
Okay.
be.
Good. It sounded so similar, I didn't even know that I did it.
Oh,
I don't know when that's going to be. If
when
I
we
say, go ahead.
when we talk about skip the dishes, have you
Yes.
heard of this new brew pub that's going in?
The Balzac craft beer one?
Balzac Craft Beer. Have you heard the concept?
I have not. I just keep seeing the signs.
Okay, so the concept is they will brew their beer there. They will serve their beer there. But they will not have a kitchen there, nor will they have wait staff. You sit down at your table. There's a list of items you can order from Skip the Dishes, and Skip the Dishes delivers to your table. So you buy your beer, order from Skip the Dishes, and it's there in 20 minutes.
What?
So apparently this is a fairly popular thing happening now, which is, in a way, absolutely genius. You don't have to worry about wait staff. You don't have to worry about having a kitchen in the place. You don't have to create a menu. If you're a or if you're a brewery, all you have to do is worry about making good beer. Done. That's it.
So there's staff there, though, pouring the beer.
I would assume there's staff pouring the beer, but that's what, one person?
So I guess it's kind of like a tap house then that doesn't serve beer or doesn't serve food at all, which does exist.
Mm-hmm.
In that, there are these places that crop up that just say, hey, come drink my beer. But you're saying the spin is that you can actually order Skip the Dishes to their establishment.
And what it sounded like is they have select dishes from select restaurants that you can pick from. So maybe it pairs with the beer. I'm not sure. But it seems like there's some sort of a scheme as to what foods are being offered.
So my question is, how do you know this?
I was told by my wife.
And how does she know this? What community connector is she on that I need to get on?
I think you just need to talk to her.
I might do that. She's a smart lady. That's cool. That's neat. I'm looking forward to it. I am really a fan of trying to support as many local Airdrie businesses as I can. Just in the past couple months, and I've said this to you already, I've heard of way too many things closing. Yes, that's happening in Calgary. It's happening everywhere. There's lots of businesses closing and there's new businesses that open. But I don't know why I feel personally affected by that. Like I did something, I could have done more. Especially since I'm someone who goes out and buys food and drink and entertainment quite a bit. I always think when a good place goes, I should have spent more of my money there instead of, a chain or, somewhere in Calgary or whatever.
Well, even when you say chain, though, if you go shop at Walmart, you're directly paying someone's salary at Walmart. So you're
True.
supporting a local person. That's
100%.
one of the things about ordering from, say, Amazon. The only person that you're going to be supporting locally is the delivery guy. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with ordering from Amazon. But I know I have heard people making a push that instead of ordering from online stuff and getting it delivered, why don't you just get off your fucking ass, go to a store nearby, buy something there. Done. It really doesn't take that long. But there's such a convenience of ordering from Amazon.
Well, and part of me feels like the steps have already been set in motion to just totally get rid of all of the brick and mortar stores like that eventually. They're just not going to be able to compete. You just can't have the retail space and have the staff and hold the inventory when you're competing with online.
Well, I've got two questions then. Number one, why do we call them brick and mortar stores? They're just fucking stores. But the second thing is, I forgot something about staff. Oh, where would people work? Like if there's no stores, where do people work? And yet we're moving to the point where there may not be that many stores left.
I just think it's odd. Like, I was in Creekside the other day, which, as you know, but many of our listeners might not, is just a strip mall area kind of in the North Calgary off of Simons Valley Road. And I drive by, and it had been a long time since I've been by there. And surprise, surprise, I was there to go to Taco Bell. So.
Oh, God.
Anyway, I drive by and the Rona or whatever it was a big home hardware store, was totally empty.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, Rona or whatever is a profitable business in theory, but the fact that they cannot maintain the location that they've opened is not so.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So get out there.
Do you know why it
Support your
closed?
businesses. No, I have no idea.
I just looked it up. It closed because all the employees ate at Taco Bell and died.
That seems highly unlikely. But thank you for that.
It's true. Just looked it up. In my head.
Your head.
In my head.
In your head. I love it.
Okay, miss, I think I'm going to have to head out, have some dinner, take care of the kid, get ready for camping, shower,
Absolutely.
cut my hair.
Yeah, you've got a big night ahead of you. What are you doing talking to me?
it's podcast.
Oh,
That's how
right.
podcasts are done.
I forgot. I forgot other people were listening. I thought
Right.
this was just us like best buds. Let's have a convo.
OMG, lit, yo, got 'em woke.
Thanks for listening, folks.
Yeah, thanks for listening, folks. Thanks for suggesting a new segment, Ashley. Appreciate it.
I'm happy to do that.
Did you notice that while we're recording this, another episode dropped of the Imperfect Image podcast?
I did not. I have no way where I'm set up right now to notice that. But
Well, it was actually earlier today. I was trying to create dramatic effect.
oh, well, that's wonderful. People will have lots to look forward to then.
They really will.
That obviously has nothing to do with me.
No, had nothing to do with you.
So, listeners, you probably really enjoyed that last episode, and I'm sorry for being a letdown.
Hilarious.
All right, have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.